Matt, really good fight in our co-main event. This is an all-action booking between Donald Cowboy Cerrone and Niko the hybrid Price. And Matt, you've been kind of banging the drum from Niko Price since just about day one. You've been really on Vicente Luque. You've been really on Niko Price. Those guys fought more than once. And for Donald Cerrone, I mean, what can I say? This guy headlined one of the biggest pay-per-views of this year, and it wasn't for a title against Conor McGregor to kick off the season. He lost that fight in the first round, and then he would go on to lose the decision to Anthony Pettis. And if you look at his record, especially the last five, and I mean, what's that? The last 3 months, 4 months, something like that, because this guy fights every other weekend. But if you look at that last five, there's a win at the start, and then there's 4 losses in a row. But that Anthony Pettis isn't all that it's cracked up to be. So we'll have a look back at that for Niko Price. I mean, in his last 5, he's 2-3. A knockout loss to Abdul Razak Al Hassan before he went away, and before the Munir Lazzez fight, he looked amazing. Then you have Niko Price coming out beating Tim Means. Then he loses by knockout to Jeff Neal. Then he knocks out James Vick. Weird fight, up kick. And then he loses by, TKO to Vicente Luque. His eye evaded him. It happens sometimes. So you got two guys that, one guy's definitely at a crossroads because he lost 4 in a row. But he's a company man, and he's been a staple of WEC and UFC for the longest time. So he's one of those guys, not necessarily like a BJ Penn, because he's still going out and having competitive fights, but he's an all-time legend. He's a Hall of Fame type of fighter. We know Donald Cowboy Cerrone. But maybe people aren't as familiar with Niko Price. This guy's an enigma. He really is. Can you kind of talk us through the typical Niko Price type of fight?
Not that he's like a Jimmy Manuwa, but the fight results end the same. He's either going to win by knockout or lose by knockout, and that's pretty much the only 2 results that you get. This is something I really like about Niko Price, though. When he loses a fight, whatever he did that lost him the fight, he'll go back, watch it, and then put it into his arsenal. It's a really interesting thing. It reminds me of, and I hate to keep on bringing up this fighter, but after Poirier lost to Khabib against Dan Hooker, when he took him down, he triangled his legs afterwards, which something Khabib did to him a lot. So it was just like, oh, you can see this worked against me. I can probably use it against someone else. And that's something that Niko Price has done. When he fought Vicente Luque the first time around, Luque chopped that lead leg a bunch. It really hurt him using that lead calf kick. And ever since that fight, Niko Price has really employed it well into his own game, especially in their last fight, the rematch that we never knew we wanted, but it did turn out to be a pretty good fight. But Luque would land a calf kick, and then immediately Niko Price would go and land one of his own. And they were sort of evenly matched the second time around because you had seen that Niko Price had made those improvements that he needed to. Now, of course, Luque still won, but I mean, Luque, if you're just having a pure kickboxing fight with him, is going to beat pretty much everyone not named like Wonder Boy and maybe like Ponzinibbio maybe at 170. Like, there's not too many guys who just technically striking-wise could keep up with a Vicente Luque. Cowboy's an interesting case because he does some of the things Luque does. He just doesn't really have the pop on his shots. And not to say that Cowboy can't put you down, but with Cowboy, it's if I land these 3 strikes that can somehow make your hands go down to your body instead of your head, then I can open up something else. And he really puts his combinations together well and sets a lot of traps, whereas Luque will do that, but any one of those shots can really put you down with a lot of power. And with Price, especially in the last Luque fight, he would receive a lot of damage, and he would immediately go on the offensive and try to like get it back and get it back and get it back. And it cost him at the end because he was doing well. It was fairly competitive. And then he just kept on trying to rush in, and Luque caught him with that really nice left hook. Price, when he's at his best, he's at really long range. He throws that really nice front kick, kind of Tony Ferguson-esque, where it's to close distance. Because if I run and throw that front kick, there's not many strikes you can throw at me that I'm really open to unless you can somehow sidestep that technique. Problem, though. Niko Price really likes to fight at range. Cowboy Cerrone at range is really hard to deal with, even at this stage in his career. A lot of people thought he won that Anthony Pettis fight. The most memorable part of that fight, and it was a good fight, was in the 3rd round. He throws a head kick that just cracks Anthony Pettis in the neck, and Pettis just kind of walked through it. It was sort of a ridiculous thing. But for a guy to lose 4 in a row, 3 of which by TKO in a row, might I add, until that Pettis decision loss, he's taken untold amounts of damage throughout his career. I remember before the Conor fight, it was like a UFC promo piece, and they were going through like all the injuries Cowboy had in his career. A weird way to hype a fight, but anyways. And it was like over 10 broken ribs, the amount of times he's broken his hands, and the knockout losses and everything. Like, Cowboy won't be thought of in 30 years as one of the best fighters, but he'll still be brought up for sure because he's such an integral part of kind of UFC's at least recent history, because he's always going to go out there. And this is very cliche, but it's true. He's going to give it his all. He's gonna always go out on shield. He's not afraid to eat a shot to give a shot. He's really got that fan-friendly style. So I think this is probably going to be your fight of the night if everything goes well. I know Cowboy's chin is a little questionable at this stage in his career, but it's not that Niko Price, he's a hard hitter, but he's not one of those upper echelon power punchers. He's not a Tony Ferguson, a Cowboy. He's not a Justin Gaethje. He's a step below, even though he's really unpredictable. And I do think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to win this fight. The consistency, which is weird, kind of goes with Cowboy because Cowboy's going to throw the inside leg kick. He's going to keep the fight at range. I know what I'm going to get from him, even in a loss. Whereas Niko Price, he could beat Wonder Boy or he could lose to some guy outside the top 15 any given day, really. You just never really know what you're going to get.
And you have a decent enough sample size from Niko Price that you can kind of gauge his performances by his numbers. And for Cerrone, I mean, like I said, WEC throwback. So yeah, the numbers are going to be there. Cowboy Cerrone beats Niko Price in every single statistical category that you can go for on UFC stats. Every single one of them. The only thing that Niko Price beats him at is average fight time, 6 minutes, 19 seconds. Cerrone, 9 minutes, 44 seconds. But in those 6 minutes, he's getting finished in some of those fights. You gotta realize that too. It's not like he's finishing them all. The part where it's interesting, if you look over in Tapology, out of 814 votes, 57% going with Price, 86% picking him to win by knockout. If you look at the odds, Niko Price is the favorite. He opened as a minus 130. Now he's at a minus 155. If you look over at Cerrone, opened as a plus 110, now at a plus 130. Does any of that surprise you at all? Because this is a guy that at the start of the year was a main event against Conor McGregor, and now he's fighting Niko Price, and he's an underdog.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's an issue because these are the fights Cowboy's supposed to win, right? Like, if he fights Justin Gaethje, you know he might not win, but it'll at least be an entertaining fight. If he fights an Ally Quinta, he might not win, but it's an entertaining fight. And he beat the brakes off Ally Quinta in that fight, but that was his last good performance, I'd say. The Alexander Hernandez one was good, but it was a little bit before that. I think it was the fight before that, actually. And then ever since, it was the Ferguson loss, and then the Gaethje loss, then the Cowboy, or then the Conor loss, and then the Pettis fight, pulled a Goldberg there, he can't fight himself. I think he should beat Niko Price, but I'm going to pick Niko Price by TKO. It's just his awkward power, the way that he can land really damaging shots from different angles. The Tim Means fight's a good example where Tim Means is just lighting Niko Price up and there's not much Price can do. And then all of a sudden Price just like backs up, and lands like a Marge Simpson uppercut from the ground that pretty much takes Tim Means off his feet and breaks his ankles. So he can do really weird things. Right when you think he's out is when he's at his most dangerous. So I think Niko Price is going to be able to pull this one off.
I don't think that Niko Price is going to be able to rip the Canyon Arrow through the Tamaco field. I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. So there's your Simpsons reference continuation for the day. I think that Donald Cerrone is going to pack that Tamaco tight in his lip. He's going to go in there, and I think he's going to end on a win. You got to end on a win. Co-main event. You're in the States before we go back over. Yeah, I think you got to do it on a win. It doesn't have to be a ranked guy. You kind of... The fighting all the time, this and that, it doesn't last forever. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, the family's starting up. I know he's got the BMF ranch, and I know a lot of people might think that that's an unpopular hot take, but I think this is a really good opportunity for him to win. He can go in there with underdog status, bit of a chip on his shoulder. And like you said, we've used some cliches, but this is one of the most fan favorite fighters that we've seen ever in the UFC. Really, think about it.
This, I can guarantee you, this fight's going to be good.
Yeah,
There's no way, and this isn't even like, Francis and Derek, because you knew that there was like a 0.5% chance that, yes, they could both be afraid of each other's power. Like, you didn't want to say it just because you knew it was probably going to be good, but you knew that there was a little chance. There's no chance. Cowboy only moves forward and throws kickboxing combinations, and Niko Price does the same. So it's going to be a phenomenal fight, even though I think Price has got it.
I'm going with Cerrone. You're going with Price. Let us know down below in the comments who you're going with. I'm really looking forward to this one. We've got a great main event coming up. Bad blood stirred between Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley. Really looking forward to it. So, as always, you're going to want to keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt. And as we always say, let's get into it.